Who is this actually good for, who should skip it, and is it worth the price for normal everyday buyers? If you've been scrolling through endless projector listings, wondering whether a laser phosphor model is overkill or just the safety net you need, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When a projector shows up in the office supply aisle, it often feels like a gamble. You picture a glossy screen in a conference room, a dimmed boardroom, and you wonder whether you'll end up with a dim picture that forces you to dim the lights and lose the professional vibe. The biggest hesitation for most buyers is the balance between brightness and size. A big, bright machine can be a nightmare to fit into a cramped office, while a compact unit can leave you squinting at a washed-out image. The ViewSonic LSD500HD tries to sit right in the middle, promising 5,500 ANSI lumens in a chassis that's small enough to sit on a shelf. For a typical small to medium business, the day-to-day use case is a weekly client presentation or a quarterly sales deck. In those scenarios, you need a projector that can throw a clear image onto a 100-inch screen even when the blinds are only partially closed. The 500 lumens rating means the image stays punchy in rooms with up to 300 lux of ambient light, which is about the level you'd get in a well-lit conference room with overhead fluorescence. In my own test setup, the picture stayed vibrant enough that I didn't have to lower the room lights to a near-dark level, something that saved time and kept the meeting flow smooth. If you're eyeing this for a home theater, the story changes a bit. The same brightness that shines in a bright office can become a bit harsh in a dark living room if you're not using a proper screen with enough gain. The projector's laser phosphor engine produces a steady, non-pulsing light source, which eliminates the rainbow effect some LCD projectors have, and that makes motion in sports or action movies feel smoother. The HDR support adds a boost in contrast that you'll notice on a decent 120-inch screen, especially in scenes with bright highlights and deep shadows. However, you'll still need to manage the room lighting. The LSD500HD isn't a turn-off-the-light sandwich in the dark machine. It works best in a dedicated media room where you can control ambient light, or with a high-gain screen that reflects more of the light back toward the viewer. Installation flexibility is where the LSD500HD tries to earn extra points. The 360-degree projection capability means you can mount it upside down on the ceiling or place it on a tabletop and still get a correctly oriented image after a few Keystone adjustments. The built-in Keystone correction handles up to 10 degrees horizontally and vertically, which is enough for most off-axis setups in cramped conference rooms where you can't place the projector directly in line with the screen. The 1.3 optical zoom adds another layer of versatility. You can shift the image size by up to 30% without moving the projector, which is handy when you're limited by ceiling height or want to fine-tune the throw distance on the fly. One of the practical strengths of laser phosphor technology is the low maintenance side of things. Traditional lamp-based projectors need a bulb replacement every 2,000 to 3,000 hours, which adds both cost and downtime. The LSD500HD's laser source is rated for roughly 20,000 hours of operation, translating to years of use before any major service is required. That longevity is a genuine money saver for businesses that run multiple presentations a week. It also means you won't have to schedule a service window just because the lamp is about to die, a small but meaningful convenience for any IT department. On the flip side, the upfront price of a laser phosphor projector is noticeably higher than a comparable lamp-based model. The LSD500HD sits in the mid-range of laser offerings, and while you're paying for the longer lamp life and stable color performance, the sticker price can still be a hurdle for startups or freelancers on a tight budget. Another practical weakness is the fan noise. Because the laser module generates heat, the unit relies on a cooling fan that can be heard at around 30 dB when the projector is operating at full brightness. In a quiet boardroom or a home theater, that hum can become noticeable, especially if you're using the projector at lower brightness levels where the image is already dimmer. The connectivity side is straightforward. It has a single HDMI 2.0 port that supports 4K at 60 Hz input, even though the projector itself outputs 1080p. That means you can feed it a 4K source, like a modern streaming box, and still get the full resolution the projector is capable.